What's going on, everyone, and welcome into Plizzolt's podcast, filled to the brim with glitchy analysis and freezing cold takes, so cold that they're boiling hot. Today's episode, we are going to be previewing the Missouri Tigers football season. Let's go ahead and hop right in with the stars. And on offense, there's only one guy to look out for. It's Luther Burden III. This is the best wide receiver in the entire country, a top 5 pick in the NFL draft next year. I expect Missouri is going to give this guy at least 60 to 70 receptions this year, and I'm looking at probably somewhere over 1,500 yards. I mean, that's a bold prediction, but this is the guy to do it. I don't see any wide receiver in the country that even comes in pales in comparison. They all pale in comparison to Luther Burden III. On the defensive side of the ball, we've got Johnny Walker Jr. He's got some big shoes to fill. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but this is going to be your sacks leader. And if Missouri is going to have a good defense, it's going to be at the hands of Johnny Walker Jr. I think he's a capable pass rusher, a good edge setter, so we'll be watching out for him. That's the star to look out for on defense. Now let's talk about our first storyline. There's a lot of buy-in with Eli Drinkwitz. He continues to get good guys in the recruiting classes and the transfer portal. Now, I didn't really have a lot of faith in him, especially after his 3 seasons at Missouri. He started 17-19. He only head coached one other time, and that was at App State for 1 season. He went 12-1, but he came to Missouri. I had a lot of doubts, but last year they caught lightning in a bottle, went 11-2, and played competitively versus Ohio State, Georgia, at Tennessee. I was very impressed with what they were able to do last year. And going into this year, I think they have the capabilities to do it again, but it's going to come at the expense of old players in this team versus the talented young players that they have, like Luther Burden III. So let's go ahead and get into the key losses and key additions of this team. On the losses side of things, you lose Cody Schrader. I think he was either a JUCO transfer or a Division II transfer. Either way, a miracle type player, the leading rusher for this Missouri team last year. I think he had about 1,400 yards. He goes to the NFL. Darius Robinson, your sacks leader from last season, he gets drafted in the first round, as well as Tyron Hopper, the linebacker from Missouri, and Ennis Rakestraw, the best corner on the team. Massive loss on defense. On offense, it looks recoverable. Let's talk about the additions. Caden Green, an offensive tackle from Oklahoma, transfers in. He'll most likely be playing a guard position, I think, just because Missouri has got some talent at tackle. He transferred in for a reason, and that's to play college football. So I think we'll be seeing him at guard this year. Torino Pride, a corner from Clemson. I haven't heard much about this guy, but if there's a lot of talk about him being CB1, that's some high praise for a transfer that you haven't heard anything about. So I think he will be a integral part of this new Missouri defense. And then last but not least, you have Marcus Carroll, a running back from Georgia State. This guy was a 1,000-yard back last season, and I don't know if he can fill the shoes of Cody Schrader, but he can rush for 800 to 900 yards, and I think that's all this Missouri team is going to need. Because of my second storyline here, Missouri has got a cupcake schedule, guys. 4 extremely easy non-conference games, and then rolling into the conference games, there's really only 1, maybe 2 tough games. I am a big buyer of this Missouri team. I think that they can become a perennial playoff and champion or SEC championship contender just because of what Eli Drinkwitz has been able to do with this program so far. They're hitting the portal hard. They're getting better and better in recruiting classes. So keep an eye out for this Missouri team. If they keep getting schedules like this, they're going to be in the playoffs every single year. So now, without further ado, let's get into the record prediction. To start for this Missouri team, they have 4 extremely easy wins versus Murray State at home, versus Buffalo at home. Come on. We don't even have to discuss it. An FCS team, and then is Buffalo an FBS team? I don't think so. Maybe they are. They're like the bottom tier of the FBS. So those are 2 teams that you can automatically count as W's. Then versus Boston College. That gets a little tougher because I think Boston College They might be able to keep this competitive, but I give Missouri the win. And then versus Vanderbilt, the worst SEC team, obviously that is a win for Missouri. But then the schedule gets really tough at Texas A&M. To me, Texas A&M will be favored in this game, but I have the Missouri Tigers going in to Kyle Allen Stadium. Is that the name? I think so. Texas A&M Stadium, and getting an upset win. That is the big factor for this Missouri team. They've got to win there. Then they play at UMass, which that is a very strange game for the AD to schedule, but an easy win nonetheless. One of the worst FBS teams in all of history. Missouri will get the win there. You don't have to worry about that. Then they host Auburn. I think that's another win. Auburn is going to go 6-6 or 5-7 or 7-5 this year. I don't think they're going to be competitive for an SEC title like Missouri is. So I think that's a win. But then they go at Alabama, and this is where I draw the line. I think that this road trip will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and Missouri will lose this game. But then they come back and host Oklahoma. Oklahoma's defense is extremely good this year, but I think Missouri's offense, especially Luther Burden III, is way too much to handle. So I will give Missouri the win here. At South Carolina, at Mississippi State versus Arkansas. These are three extremely easy games in my opinion. Mississippi State and Arkansas have the 14th and 13th worst rosters in the entire SEC. And then South Carolina, I think I have them going 4-8. They have a better roster than Mississippi State and Arkansas, but I still don't think they're going to be competitive at all on defense. So Missouri can take these games very easily. I have their team being so overwhelming on offense that most teams are not going to be able to keep up. Now, let's talk about a couple of other things before I close out this video. I think Eli Drinkwitz will get a call up somewhere, whether that be, an LSU maybe. I don't think he'll take an Arkansas job because that's kind of a lateral move, but a big program is going to fire their coach and be looking for a new one. He's going to be getting a lot of calls. Luther Burden III, I've got him winning the Biletnikoff. And then last but not least, this is going to prove that Missouri is not frauds if they can get into either the SEC championship and win a game or the college football playoff and win a game. I think those two things are extremely important to set the tone going forward, that this is not a team who gets an easy schedule and then gets blown out in a playoff game. They got to win big when the moments matter the most. So let's see if Missouri can do it. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I think we're going to be doing Oklahoma next. Be sure to hit that follow button, subscribe button, comment button. Thank you all again so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.